1. Performative males and the ladies very, very upset with the Secretary of War. Dems used to be very against a government shutdown. And a man arrested out of his living room for a post on X. With the most electric man in television, Tinfoil Pat. 2. Comedians headed to Saudi Arabia, taking that sweet, sweet oil money to tell jokes. Is that hypocritical when they're afraid of the orange man? With comedian Bridget Phetasy. 3. Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z, what do you do in the car? It is Will Cain Country on this Wednesday. Big show for you today. Are you Gen X? Are you Millennial? Are you Gen Z? Well, it might be defined by exactly what you do when you're alone in your car. No, not like that. Quit thinking dirty. What do you listen to in your car? What is your generation? But we've got a series of quick takes as everyone is freaking out about the Secretary of War. Let's get into it all with story number 1. Quick takes taking us through the news. The big stories through the day is the most exciting man in television, the dawn of quick takes, the maestro of the mic, the most electric man in television that always knows how to toss to a piece of sound. It is Tinfoil Pat.
That's right, Will. I hope you had an okay time getting into the studio today. Things are crazy because the government has shut down. It is shut down. Shut it down. So right now, shut it down. The Democrats have followed through, and they're not working with the GOP. Now, this comes at a time where Democrats have been caught flip-flopping on this issue, and here are some sound from, the past where, they
really
said something completely
know which clip
different.
you're talking about.
You know which one?
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most. A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos.
There's much more where that came from, but that was all we clipped. So, it's,
Yeah. I'm tempted. Right before we went on air, Tinfoil Pat said, I need a new contract. This is not in my job description. And sometimes I think, like a 20-year-old horse all swayed back and fragile hipped out in the field, if I just put the spurs to his hindquarters, I'll get him going. I'll call him the most exciting man in television. I'll tweak him. I'll insult him. I'll get this horse to run. I can maybe ride this horse across the finish line. And, I mean, I'm a man of hope and optimism, clearly, because you stumbled not only out of the gates, but down to the finish line. The tossing to sound, the piece of sound, the coming out of the sound. It's an unfolded lawn chair. It is a wonky piece of golf equipment. It's broken from the shaft and the head. It's not smooth. It does not hit the ball down the fairway. It is electric.
Swing and a miss.
It just is what it is,
Well, that's a hell of a contract negotiation for the new talent that is Tinfoil Pat. Nothing like the talent of Democrats. They sound much like they have, or much different than they have in the past. Government shutdowns are totally unacceptable today. They won't accept responsibility for a government shutdown. Instead, they blame it on Republicans. Republicans are saying the Democrats are shutting down the government to deprive or to ensure that health care is extended to illegal immigrants. The talking point across MSNBC and from the United States Senate is that is a lie, a complete lie. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said it is a complete lie that we want to give insurance to illegal immigrants. We will not give insurance, not one single penny, to illegal immigrants. The word game being played by Democrats is the word insurance. The way that it works is that Obamacare subsidies ensure that hospitals are reimbursed for care to illegal immigrants. They always insert another word that is part of the word games: emergency care. If an illegal immigrant walks into an emergency room, they will receive care. That hospital will receive refunds for that care from the federal government. Of course, the word games underlie the reality. There are no illegal immigrants getting Medicare or Medicaid. They are not getting insurance. No one cares about insurance. They care about treatment and cost. They are certainly getting treatment, and it certainly costs. Are they only going in for life-saving emergency treatments? Have you ever been to an emergency room? Do you know what it looks like? It is not people simply with gunshot wounds. It is not people simply suffering from a heart attack. It is people treating it like their clinic. People lined up in emergency rooms getting whatever care they need, and that then is billed to the federal government, reimbursed to hospitals. That means your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the health care of illegal immigrants. That's the truth beyond the word games. So Democrats want to protect that hospital subsidy, that federal government taxpayer subsidy to illegal immigrants, and for that, they're willing to do something they said they would never do in the past, and that is shut down the government. Let me put the spurs to this old mule and see if I can get her to ride once again. Tinfoil Pat.
No need for that, okay? Because we have the left going on the defense, I guess, trying to smear our good friend, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. They seem to be confused or projecting his speech yesterday at Quantico. Here's Abby Phillips of CNN, for example.
Troy, I mean, is the argument here, let's go back to like barbarian warfare where there are no rules of engagement, everything goes, you know, no such thing as a war crime, you can do whatever you want? Is that the argument?
So warfare is fundamentally something that is very hard to write down in the international law, the law of war. I would say what we heard here today was not a speech for the pundit class or the journalist class or even the generals and admirals in that room. I think it was a speech for the warrior class.
Sometimes I wonder if I have a GIMP costume in my closet. Am I a masochist?
Wow. Do
I like punishment? Do I want to hire a dominatrix? Is that what's going on with me? Because every once in a while, you know, I can't even remember what time it is. Is it the 9 o'clock hour Central Time? I'm like, I wonder what they're doing over on that struggle session that is Abby Phillips. And I did it. I turned over there last night. Get out the whip, Miss Dominatrix. I had to listen to these people talk about whether or not the Secretary of War just has it out for women and people of color. Because, and this is the greatest, this is the best, he says everyone has to be held to the same high standards. Everyone has to pass the physical tests, whether or not you're a general or you are in the infantry. Everyone has to pass the test, whether or not you're a woman or a man. And they hear, why do you have it out for women and people of color? What does that mean about their opinion of women and people of color? That they won't be able to meet high standards? Like, just call it for what it is. You're the sexist. You're the racist. And yet you do this with your kindergarten school teacher condescension as though you're sitting on some moral high ground. And the answer to your question is yes, barbarian warfare. Warfare is barbarian. And you have to win. Win warfare. Okay? Get out of here. They triple down on this identity politics. They triple down on this nonsense. I believe we also have some of the people on MSNBC two-a-days.
But other individuals who are supposed to be leadership are using this kind of language. I call that the meritocracy myth, and it feels as though that myth of meritocracy, this idea that the women and the people of color, the LGBTQ folks, they are all there because of some help or some preference. That idea is a lie, but it feels as like it's a lie that they feel like Hegseth especially has to tell, because then they can twist the narrative, they can twist the truth, he can hide excellence. It gives cover for his own mediocrity because he is unqualified to be there.
Oh, my gosh. You hide excellence by requiring everyone live up to higher standards. By the way, on these panels on MSNBC or CNN, they always have the performative male. Do you know what the performative male is?
Oh,
I
yeah.
just learned this morning.
I love
You're
it.
smiling tinfoil. Do you know what a performative male is?
No.
I just
There's
learned
a lot
this.
in New York. They wear tote bags and...
Tell me what it's... explain to us a performative male two-a-days.
A performative male is a man who wants to make, females and other people feel comfortable, so they assimilate to their style and fashion and overall demeanor, so they seem like they're an ally, overly like that.
So what does that mean? Like wearing a merce?
Yeah, so they wear like female clothing, like the pearl necklace that your friend wears, or the tote bag, things like that. You know, very feminine kind of clothes that says "I'm not a threat."
And here's the trick:
it says "I'm not a threat."
So they do that. They do that to score.
Yeah,
that's the trick,
yeah.
right? They're doing this in order to get to the women.
Yeah, and it's great when two performative males meet each other. Then that's a whole other thing.
Oh, why? What happens?
It's just
what happens?
Because they're trying not to break when they talk to each other. You know, they're trying to be like overly woke and overly these things, and all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, are you gonna break? Am I gonna break? It's just fascinating.
It's like being a con artist.
Yes.
The con artists.
Yes.
They're like wrapping up their sexual desires in a friendly piece of, confetti wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Check me out, ladies. I'm good. I'm safe. I'm good with you. I'm just like you.
I'm not going to follow you in the
woman,
subway.
You know? Their panels on these channels are full of the performative male. And then, of course, there's the ladies. The ladies are very upset because they're going to have to do the pull-ups. They're just not happy about the pull-ups and the faster mile. And nobody's more upset than, of course, the menopausal ladies on The View.
I'm actually really befuddled by why he did that. The optics were terrible, meaning all of our top military brass are all in one place, and we spent $6 million to get them there. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. It also didn't make a lot of sense to me that he was saying that he was going to toughen physical standards and review the anti-hazing policy by sort of implementing a hazing policy. And then also he said he was going to return to the highest male standard for combat positions because the troops were fat. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how that was supposed to be an uplifting message for our military.
They was referring.
It's supposed to be an uplifting message. What? This is a pep rally? It's therapy? This isn't uplifting. Can you imagine two fat 4-stars sitting next to each other in that audience and one turning to the other and go, this is not very uplifting.
Yeah.
There's nobody to perform for, General.
I'm not
There's
uplifted.
Not very many ladies in the audience. Man, that's Sunny Hostin. I'm curious, do you think Sunny Hostin thinks she's more qualified to be the Secretary of War? Like, honestly, do you think she thinks that she could do that job better?
Probably, yeah.
And what would that speech be like from Sunny Hostin? Like, how would that sound? What would that do to our military? Well, I think we actually know the answer to that. It's the military that we had over the last 4 years under Joe Biden. Because we actually had something worse, right? Didn't we have the ultimate performative male? Didn't we have a trans male, at least high up somewhere? I don't know, wearing a uniform.
Like a
was
rear
it in charge
admiral.
of health?
Trans woman.
Oh,
Rear
assistant.
Trans woman.
Yeah.
Will.
Yeah, you got to get the terms right.
Ed cracked a joke that has just totally distracted me about the rear admiral that I'm trying to get out of my head. So I'm trying to get back
Ed,
on
let's
track.
keep it family friendly. This is a family show.
Secretary of War said no more dudes in dresses. I think those were his exact words, right?
Yep.
No more dudes in dresses. Something else Sunny Hostin said in that clip beside the was it the male standard for combat? Yes. The male standard for combat. Yes. Because you know who doesn't care about your identity politics? The enemy. The enemy just cares about your lethality. All right. As is always the case in this race, the horse runs the best in the middle, stumbles out of the gates, stumbles across the finish line, did well on last take. Let's see where we are now, tinfoil Pat.
Now, this one's going to be a little trickier because there's no SOT to it, but out of the UK, well, actually, we do have it. Damn it.
Wow.
So,
dude, you are just firing on all cylinders. Holy moly.
Hey, Patrick, we're gonna get on that contract right away, pal.
Dude, we're gonna
dock. Management's discussing it as we speak.
We're gonna dock your pay.
Right now, they're in the back rooms. They're in the highest levels of Fox, somewhere up at the top of the building, going, I don't know, guys.
They're watching
How
right
much
now.
do you think we're gonna have to do?
So, a UK blogger was arrested after an anti-Hamas meme. He sent out an anti-Hamas meme on social media. Here's a clip of his arrest.
Basically, Section 19 refers to spreading what we say like racial hatred
So you've posted something online that we believe is spreading racial hatred.
Twitter, Facebook,
I can't explain too much. It's just to give you the context beforehand.
It'll be put to your interview.
Because I appreciate you've never been arrested before, have you?
Yeah, once or twice.
Once or twice. Apologies.
Frequent flyer.
Apologies, I didn't think you were. Basically, how it works now is then, obviously, if you've got stuff you'd like to gather, obviously I'm more than willing.
Oh, you don't talk on the backside of the clip?
He doesn't know whether to talk or
Me.
not.
I take it.
Yeah, it's go over to you, Will.
He's just blankly staring at you.
That's what we did.
All right, that is a clip that is in England of a man in his living room sitting on the couch with a police officer, very nice police officer, very, very polite British police officer, very apologetic actually, but unyielding, arresting him for an anti-Hamas post on social media. So you can't talk trash about Hamas in the UK without being arrested. He was taking him from his living room. Oh, I like, by the way, I'm a frequent flyer. Have you ever been arrested before? Once or twice. I'm curious what he's been arrested for. Like, is it other posts? This is happening with an increasing frequency in the UK. It really is. This is Big Brother. This is 1984. This is bad news. It's bad news to be arresting people for speech, period, right? And why does it matter? It's the UK because it is, if not the foundation, the strongest flag bearer of Western civilization over the last half a millennia. And they have slid into this. Step further is the actual content of what he had to say. Anti-Hamas gets you arrested in the UK. And you know what? But for the grace of God, we might be here. I'm telling you, we might be here in America. We had in the works the Disinformation Bureau, Nina Jankovic, under Joe Biden. They were going to monitor social media. They did take stuff down. We know that. Google and YouTube have admitted it. How big a leap is it from that to what we just saw in the UK? Electric edition of Quick Takes with Tinfoil Pat. Several of your biggest names in comedy are headed for Saudi Arabia. We'll call it the Live Tour of comedy. Big money in the desert. Is this not the ultimate hypocrisy? We're going to break it down with comedian Bridget Phetasy next on Will Cain Country.
I'm Dana Perino. This week on Perino on Politics, I am joined by Executive Vice President at Targeted Victory, Matt Gorman.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com.
Or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
This week on the Fox True Crime Podcast, I'm joined by retired FBI Special Agent Stacey Perkins as she discusses the Bureau's Innocent Images Initiative and the many child predators she has helped to bring down.
Listen and follow now at foxtruecrime.com.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
Weather is part of the American story. From the first heat wave to the first frost, Fox Weather is there for you.
I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out.
For all seasons, for all America, Fox Weather.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle said yes. Shane Gillis said no. Taking the big money in Saudi Arabia. It is Will Cain Country on the Will Cain Country YouTube channel, but always available by subscribing at Apple or on Spotify. Bridget Phetasy is the host of Walk-Ins Welcome, also Dumpster Fire, also Real America with Bridget Phetasy. She's a contributor at The Spectator, and she joins us now. Hey, Bridget.
Good morning. How you doing?
Get a few more shows, Bridget. Jeez. How many shows? 3?
I have one with my husband, too, but it's behind a paywall.
That's at your Substack, by the way, I assume. A paywall at your Substack, Beyond Parody with Bridget Phetasy, which everyone can check out and should check out.
Thank you, Will.
You bet. Bridget, you've been in this world of comedy. You know, I'm sure, a lot of these guys. You've been on Rogan. So the number of comedians that are headed over to Saudi Arabia to do a comedy festival, I think it's taking place over several days because it's like 20 guys that are telling jokes in the desert, is really wild. It includes a lot of people that we like as well here who've been on the show. Andrew Schultz, big fan. Jeff Ross, Sebastian Maniscalco, Gabriel Iglesias, Kevin Hart. You're laughing already. Chris DiStefano, Pete Davidson, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Hannibal Buress, Wayne Brady, all headed over there. Let me just start with, what are your thoughts? Do you wish you were getting the big Saudi money?
I don't know if you're aware, but comedians are all whores.
Yes.
I'm not sure if people know this anymore because we've become like political pundits in this insane time. But I feel like people are holding them to this standard that is surprising to me, knowing comedians. Some of them are more surprising than others. Bill Burr is surprising to me because he's been on this like Free Luigi anti-billionaire tangent that he's been going off on, and you're going to go to Saudi and take trillionaire money. Like, billionaires are bad, but trillionaires are okay. That one's surprising to me. Dave Chappelle said no to millions of dollars and moved to Africa, and now he's doing this. Seems like he might regret that decision of saying no to all that money, and now he's trying to make up for it. The other guys, I'm of many minds about this. I really don't want to hear any lectures about free speech from the headliners of the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival. I also don't really blame people for getting that bag because as someone who does comedy, these people slept on mattresses. Like, it's the hardest grind in the world to get to the level that they're at. That being said, they're all rich. I don't know why they need this money. Like, these guys are all flying around in private jets. A lot of them, not all of them, but they're very wealthy already. So I was thinking, like, what is the dollar value that I would sell my morals out at? And it's got to be at least 8 figures. I don't think I would do it for just a measly 7 or 6 figures. And the other thing that I don't... I was looking at some of the contracts too, because they've been posted online now. And one of the contracts said that, the management was like, we have to get the flight there. Like, excuse me, if I'm not in a pod on Emirates in first class, there's no way I'm going to Saudi to do comedy and paying for my flight there. That's insane. But that seems like probably a lower tier of comedian in the only measly 6 figures. The other thing, I really don't think it's fair to talk about this without talking about how you can't talk about taking money from Saudi without talking about the VC money. It's everywhere in venture capitalism. They just bought EA. They own part of X. Like, why are these comedians supposed to, now granted, they're not necessarily going to Saudi Arabia, and they're not comedians whose whole thing is free speech. But I do, and doing comedy for a murderous regime. But I do think it's not entirely fair to say they can't get that money, but everybody in tech can. And right. I don't know. I have a lot. I'm of many minds.
What is the bag?
Let's
talk through it. I am too. I want to go through it, but you seem to know, and I don't know. And I'll tell you why I'm curious. Well, I'm curious just because I'm curious, but we can apply it to the conversation in a minute. The Live Golf guys, I mean, they got obscene amounts of money compared to what they were making on the PGA. Like, obscene.
Yeah.
Is that what happened in this? Like, Dave Chappelle's got to be getting obscene money. Any idea what they're getting?
What's being reported is anywhere from like 365 to 1.6, and it's got to be more than that for some of these guys. It has to. I want to and have to believe that it has to be more than that. Now, granted, $1.6 million for one show is a lot of money, but it still comes with this cost of everyone. I mean, Pete Davidson, that's crazy. His dad was in the towers on 9/11. How are you going to Saudi Arabia doing this? Unless you're doing it for the bit, which, by the way, Pete, I completely understand. Now, I do think comedians have been put on this pedestal that's weird to me over the past, decade, because they've been speaking out against cancel culture and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't think comedians should. They're slippery mercenaries. They're tricksters. This is he who dupes others, but who also dupes himself. Like, you cannot. I don't think they should be put on the pedestal of these philosopher kings who are going to uphold morals for society. It's like through their actions, all morals should come into being.
I totally agree. Okay, here's what I want to do. To organize this conversation, I'm going to come back to comedians. I want to just talk about the other stuff you said for just a minute. So, Louis C.K.'s on the list, by the way. And if it's 1.6 million, I mean, several years ago after Louis C.K. was canceled, there was talk of him going direct to the consumer and doing shows and making much more than that, it seemed like, on his direct-to-consumer shows. So it just doesn't feel like this is big enough money to even go through all this stuff that you and I are talking about. It's got to be bigger money. It's got to be. Your point about venture capital and tech companies and sports figures all getting Saudi money and Saudi money really playing a role in our economy at large, where I'm not sure any of us are living pristine and can really do this from a place of a glass house, or whatever. I butchered that. But, we're not doing this from, purity here, any of us. But Mark Maron did say, well, how are they going to intro the comedy festival? From the folks who brought you 9/11, and then here comes Pete Davidson. It's a tough question. Was it Jon Stewart that famously had this where he's like, no, I can't remember who it was, but would you sleep with me, for $10 million? Yes. Would you sleep with me for $100? No. What do you think I am, a whore? Well, we've already established what you are. Now we're negotiating. At some point, we are all whores, not just comedians. And it makes you wonder for all of us on this money, where is our line? And I don't know. It's certainly not a moral line, I don't think. But it's funny you say what the number is. Your number apparently is higher than everyone on this comedy festival, 8 figures.
I don't think that because I don't think that it's. By showing up there, you're giving them legitimacy, which is what they want. So you're doing a lot of work on their behalf, the Saudi Arabian behalf, saying see, we've got these comedians coming, and look how it's like when they feed hostages really well, and then they make them do a video, and they're like, it's like Hamas treating the hostages well, look how well we're feeding these hostages. That it has a little bit of that vibe to me of see how well we're treating these comedians. We're letting them make their little silly jokes, and maybe we'll even let Whitney drive while she's here. They are letting women drive, and I guess there's a lot of accidents now, so there is some kind of joke in that, But there, it's very complicated.
Do they let women drive in Saudi Arabia now?
Yeah.
Do they?
I think so, yeah.
And have accidents gone up?
I don't know how they do it with no peripheral vision, and I think there are accidents. It's very complicated because money gets to go wherever it wants, and people don't get to go wherever they want. And in this kind of global economy that we have, like I said, I'm of many minds about this. I personally don't think I would do it. I don't And again, there's
Yeah.
probably a number. You know, Stavros, who said no to this as well, said he stopped taking their calls because they kept doubling it, and he knew eventually there would be a number that he just couldn't say no to and didn't want to be put in that
Wow.
position. So
Shane Gillis said that too, right? He said he said no, and they doubled the money, and he still said no.
yeah, but he's also like not giving his buddy shit. Like he also understands, I guess, why people are doing it. I think he's big enough to be able to say that. Shane can probably easily do a Bud Light commercial, and I think the dumbest argument that I see is, well, it's basically the same thing as working for America. And I'm like, okay, go smoke another joint. I love your take of a 20-year-old in college. Like, thank you for your ridiculous idea that somehow America is as bad as Saudi Arabia on human rights. But that's another one you hear. It's like another justification.
Well, okay. Now I want to come back to the comedians, because I agree with everything you've said. I think I agree with all you're going to say as well. Meaning, it's hard to criticize people. None of us live from a place of moral authority on where money is going and who you're taking money from. There are degrees of it. Filling up at the gas station, knowing that there's Arab oil going into your tanks, is not the same thing as taking $1.6 million directly to tell jokes in the desert. Not the same thing.
Right.
But
No, not
I
the
do
same
appreciate that. But I do appreciate that, you know, if we're being honest, all of us probably have some figure, except for the most dedicated moralist among us. And so I'm not going to crush these guys. That's not really my position of crushing them for going to Saudi Arabia and taking this money. And I also like what you said. They're not philosopher kings, the place that we've elevated them into society. They're, what'd you call them, slick mercenaries? But
yeah.
And we shouldn't hold them to this high standard. But I do think it's now fair to hold them to their own standard, the standard that they have set. And that is guys like Bill Burr, who see a tyrant in Donald Trump, who call him the orange man bad. And it's going to be more than Bill Burr. There's going to be a lot of these guys on here who have done this bit, who have taken on the position of the moralist philosopher when it comes to the evils of America. And you know, in the past, people are like, oh, I'm not going to criticize Saudi Arabia because it's not my country. I can criticize my country because this is where. But now you're going to that country and getting paid by people who have no free speech, who have no equal rights, who at best are very highly suspected of being involved in 9/11, who murdered a journalist in Jamal Khashoggi, who did all these things. And I just can't take you back over here. I never did anyway, in terms of taking you seriously. But I can't even stand you to come back here and now start moralizing through the lens of a joke to me about Donald Trump.
Yeah, it reminds me so much of Jonathan Haidt's Righteous Minds. Like at base, we're all hypocrites, and we're all judgmental hypocrites. So it is hard for me to throw like rocks in a glass house. I don't know what these people's situations are. I do think that, like I said, even about the free speech stuff in Jimmy Kimmel, a lot of these people were going off about free speech and Jimmy Kimmel, and I was like, I don't want to hear it from the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival lineup. I don't care. Like, you're going to get out there. Even Schultz was doing this. He did his big video kind of comparing what was happening with Charlie Kirk to the free speech in Kimmel. And look, I'm pro free speech, but if you're going to go fly to Saudi Arabia, like free speech for me, but not for thee, that feels insane and ridiculous to me. And you're right. We should be holding them to the standards they set for themselves. I think that's at the very least fair. Now, I generally don't think I apply that to comedians because I think they're slippery mercenaries and they're more. I saw there was this tweet the other day that I keep thinking about. A lot of people think they're weather when they're really weather vanes. And I think that these people are weather vanes. And they're going to go where it's okay to go. They're only going there because they somehow feel like it's okay now. That's what's more interesting to me, is that it's somehow, I don't know if it was the Live Golf. It's funny you called it that because that's what I've been calling it, is like the Live Golf of comedy festivals. I don't know what shifted in the culture, if it is the VC money everywhere. I was at an event where I was writing with a comedian who is supposed to roast the event, and the Kushners were there, the Saudis were there, there were leftists there. It was like, money gets to do whatever it wants. So there is a part of me that's like, go get the bag, go get it. But something shifted that this is okay.
Something did shift. I do think Liv probably had something to do with it. The golfers sort of were the bull who ran through the wall. Now comedians can follow through the hole. Let's talk about that weather vane thing for a moment. It's kind of interesting. I haven't spoken to you since the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. Jimmy Kimmel was just on Colbert along with Seth Meyers. They told stories about Colbert's cancellation. Apparently they all share the same agent, along with Jon Stewart as well. He's the one that broke the news to Colbert that he was canceled by CBS. And they all commiserated with each other. It's interesting about the weather vane, Bridget, in terms of like these guys, for the record, this is just factual. This isn't even me trying to be mean. Their ratings are awful. They're really bad. Yeah, somebody said to me the other day, like, you talk so much about Jimmy Kimmel. What about yours? I'm like, I beat Jimy Kimmel. I'm not bragging, but I beat Jimmy Kimmel. Maybe I am bragging. But
you should brag.
I'm not talking about digital numbers. I'm talking about Apple to Apple TV numbers. So, but they're not following where the weather is. They're not the weather vane. So I don't know if these guys are just principled or that their weather vane is off. Like, they live in their New York City or LA bubble. Everyone around them says this is what everybody thinks and believes, and their weather vane starts, pointing the way their local winds suggest. But they destroyed their own ratings by doing the stuff that they've done, which really isn't measuring the weather.
Yeah, but we're talking about old media versus new media. This is a circle jerk on the nursing home that is network television. These guys are part of a dying institution, and they make a lot of money from that dying institution. They're making tens of millions of dollars a year to basically parrot an ideology that they can't really stray outside of. New media is different, and I think that the incentives to be honest are good in new media, although I think there's a lot of room for just monetary capture. A lot of these comedians are people who have made millions of dollars podcasting, millions, and not even in comedy. We're talking about in podcasting, and that is they have a lot more downloads than Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and all of these people. So part of it is this is like they don't. I'm looking forward to Jimmy and Stephen Colbert probably having a podcast a year from now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's where they all have to end up going.
And they'll make good money.
They'll make good money.
Yeah, they'll get huge podcasting deals.
They think they're principled, but they didn't stick up for anybody when it actually mattered, or when it would have cost them viewers and it would have cost their audience. I mean, I don't think that they're. It was funny. Someone was saying, like, wow, a bunch of guys jerking each other off on network television. The slippery slope is real. It's just like these guys all talking to each other and smelling each other's farts, and they're completely out of touch from where the rest of America has moved. So I don't think anyone would consider these guys weather vanes or weather. I think they're like a rusty they're like a rusty tractor in the field. I don't know.
I get it. What do you think? Have you heard anything about this? Looking forward, I'm curious what CBS will do. You described it right. It's an aging institution. The late night format, the broadcast media in general. I wonder what CBS will do in place of Colbert. Have they told us? Have they announced that? Like,
why
do
we have networks still?
Why do we have networks still? The
Other
answer to
than
that is going to be about
that's
money.
the only reason the FCC exists.
Yeah, well, and radio. Yeah, radio
and radio.
Any
why,
licensed airwave. Yeah.
Why do we have network still. The only thing they play is sports. That's it. That's really the only thing people watch on network television anymore. So can
Well, and to
someone?
your point,
I'm asking
like,
a serious
everyone
question.
is getting that. I am. So I think my guess is, I don't have the stats in front of me, the vast majority of people are watching those networks on cable television or whatever the modern equivalent of cable television is, streaming, YouTube TV, or whatever it is, right? Meaning very few people are getting it actually through the licensed airwaves with rabbit ears. There are people out there that still have rabbit ears. That's true. They do. And they're getting it through the regulated airwaves. But I would be curious. I don't know what percentage that is. It can't be a large percentage that are getting it through that mechanism anymore.
So even the
so why do we have
networks
networks?
seem-
I don't know.
Yeah, the whole institution is done. You know, these are people who are fighting for their survival in their own format, late night television, which is dead, and many people do better. Your show is as funny as their show, if not funnier. You have Jesse
As
Waters,
funny.
who's basically doing late night. You've got Gutfeld. There's plenty of other people
Yep.
that people can tune into. So you can tune in whenever you want. So you have a dying. This format was supposed to. Late night was supposed to be the palate cleanser after you watched the news, which you got
Right.
in the evening when you came home. And then we got the 24-hour news cycle. So if anything killed late night, it was that 24-hour news cycle. At least that was the beginning of the end. Then the internet came. And I've seen every joke that they make on late night on Twitter by the time they go and make it. It's impossible to try and be fresh.
I'm not a late night guy, Bridget. I'm not. So many things killed it. Like, okay, well, the idea of the celebrity interview was part of the late night thing. I'm trying to think at any point in my life, was I a big consumer of any of these guys? Carson, Leno, Letterman.
Conan. I watched
the
I
celebrity
love
interview.
Conan.
Well, the celebrity interview is part of it, and obviously podcasting killed that. It even killed Howard Stern's. Like, he's not a differentiator anymore. He's a great interviewer, but now you could go to Dax Shepard or Joe Rogan or whoever you want and get an hour-long sit-down with a celebrity. So that's out. Comedy, the joke, to your point, is out, and you put the two reasons, of one of which is self-inflicted. If you're going to differentiate yourself, don't be CNN. Don't do the 24-hour news cycle. Right? That's already available and it's already been seen. The joke itself has already been seen on social media. So what do? You probably have to go further into being the palate cleanser. Like, that's how you differentiate yourself. And the only thing that ever caught my attention was right before, and this will make me unpopular, but right before the Trump era, Jimmy Fallon was doing like funny skits and little game shows and lip syncing and stuff like that. And that was unique content, I thought. And I don't know that I watched it or if I saw it on social media. And then he got crushed because Trump comes along, Colbert does all anti-Trump, and that gets ratings.
Yeah.
But there for a moment, I feel like Fallon had something that was supposed to be what it was intended. The fun, differentiated palate cleanser.
Yeah, but they also abandoned their duty to entertain all Americans. And in the Trump era, they have decided to only entertain one side of America and otherwise be alienated from their friends and their communities and their whatever. This divide occurred at the same time new media was blowing up, and then we have just different silos of media now. So these guys, they abandoned their duty to entertain everybody. The mask came fully off in 2015 with SNL has suffered a very similar fate. And now you've got people who can get entertainment wherever they want it. And then you have, and again, this is like, we live in this time where media is in such an enormous free fall. Where are we going to be? We're going to be replaced by AI. Well,
no, it's totally legit. I was going to talk about Wikipedia with you. I've been 2 days. I've been wanting to talk about Wikipedia and their blacklist of sites, which includes Fox News, that they won't use as sources, which, by the way, is important not just because you can't trust Wikipedia, but AI really relies on Wikipedia as one of its main sources. So what you're getting from AI is going to be biased. But I was thinking about transitioning that topic with you, but what I was thinking was everything is being destroyed. There is creation, but everything. broadcast television, then cable television, even the things on the internet that you think, Google's in the process of being destroyed right now. AI is destroying search. I use it for search often.
Yeah.
But to your point, like nothing, not only is nothing permanent, nothing lasts that long anymore.
Yeah. But this is why I think it's our job. I've been talking a lot about this with like the Wikipedia thing's interesting because we've known again that this has been ideologically captured for a long time. So everybody's, well, maybe the left doesn't know this, but the people who are independent and on the right, they've been aware of this for a long time. People have been pushing back. I do think it's good that somebody like Elon is creating at least some balance or something to compete with it so that it's not completely captured. But I really think I want to buy just like an encyclopedia set. What worries me is that it is that like buy physical media. Everything's going to be rewritten. There's so much history and stuff like that that's being changed.
That's happening, right?
Yeah.
That's happening on ebooks. Like they've already done that with ebooks. So you literally have to go get an old physical copy. If you buy, I can't remember which books they did it to. I think it was some Mark Twain books. But if you buy an ebook of, I don't know, let's just say, I could be wrong on this, but Huckleberry Finn, you're not getting the book that was published by Mark Twain or that was available 20 years ago.
They did it to one of the Roald Dahl books. Yeah, the books. They took away like references to being fat and yeah, it's definitely the Wikipedia thing's interesting, although I'm not sure that it all just feels like an AI arms race. We're all having these conversations and this is, again, to circle back to the Saudi Arabia stuff. I think people sense this and they're going, I'm just going to grab as much money as I can while I can. As I was coming onto your show, there's this story going around about how Maxwell House rebranded to Maxwell Apartments. And I was like, oh, the crash is coming, isn't it? Like you have a
is
copy.
Is that real?
I was just reading about it in the New York Post when I came onto the show. So I'm assuming.
Come on, that can't be real. Maxwell House is Maxwell Apartments. Get. I need somebody. Ed, my guy Ed is over there on the internet.
Is he fact checking it for me? Yeah, I think there is this sense of people going, you know what? I'm just gonna grab as much as I can while I can. We see this in media. Our industry is there's so many people taking money from foreign influences and different countries.
My crack researcher says it's real. What?
Yeah.
Ed? It's real. Maxwell
the crash
Apartments.
Is coming.
Get out of here. Oh, my God. Yeah, the crash is coming. 133-year-old brand. Well, rest in peace, Maxwell House. Say hi to Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben while you're up there.
People feel bad when they're drinking this in their apartment. It's like we live in the softest times of all time. So I do
check
think
her
that
out
there
on Go, I wrapped you in the middle of your answer.
Right.
Check her out in Walk-Ins Welcome, Dumpster Fire, Real America with Bridget Phetasy, and then there's this mysterious show as well with her husband that you only get behind a paywall by heading over to Substack, Beyond Parody with Bridget Phetasy. I mean, that mysterious show is enough. That's what you got to buy. Yeah, Ed's in.
Good.
Ed's in. I mean,
my husband's
that's
the
a hell of
brains
a
of the
tease.
operation.
That's how it should be from now on. There's secret content. It's not paywalled. It's just secret. It's a small $5 fee monthly, and you get that show as well. All right. Bridget, always good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. By the way, over there in the Willisha, Christine says police have to pass fitness tests, right? I think Pete is doing a great job. Being fit is a good idea. We want a healthier America. And by the way, Christine, we want badass warriors, killers. No flex arm hang. 72 Marsh Flower says, this channel is performative male, LOL. We might be, 72 Marsh Flower. We might be. Are we coming off as feminine? Have I been declawed?
I'll just
Make
talk
myself
and no.
a little
We
more
are not
accessible?
feminine.
The funny thing is, with that voice, and you are the most performative of all of us.
Hey.
Yet you have that voice.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey. You meant hey.
I take offense to that.
Alec Colley says, stop picking on tinfoil. He did great.
That's
You hear
definitely
that,
his burner
tinfoil?
account.
You got some defenders.
That's definitely his burner account.
If he has a burner, he named it Alec Colley. Like tinfoils is going to be a triple entendre. Like something real sneaky about a conspiracy. All right. Ethan Penner is running for governor of California as an independent. Plus, what generation does what? Listens to what in their car? Coming up on Will Cain Country.
You never know who might be taking the quiz.
I'm Clay Aiken. I am Dre DeMatteo.
Hey, everybody, it's Billy Baldwin.
Hey, everyone, it's Patricia Heaton.
Hey, everyone, I'm Nicole Palizzi.
Hey, everyone, it's Candace Bushnell.
Hey, everyone, it's Henry Golding.
Hey, everyone, it's Zachary Levi. Hey, everybody, it's Kevin Nealon, and it's time to take the quiz.
5 questions in less than 5 minutes every day. Listen and follow at thequiz.fox.
Thank you for taking the quiz.
Catching the killer isn't easy. Lucky for me, I got friends, and they got ideas.
From Fox Nation and executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson comes a mind-blowing new true crime series.
Each episode is its own special study in solving a murder.
Shocking mysteries.
She would never just disappear. This doesn't happen here.
Sinister plots.
And as I passed by, I shot him.
And poetic justice.
This is a very calculating, evil person.
I'm Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and this is 50 Ways to Catch a Killer. Streaming now on Fox Nation.
Kudlow on Fox Business is now on the go for podcast fans. Download the Kudlow Show podcast every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com. Kudlow covers the latest headlines and business trends with an emphasis on the financial impact facing households and businesses across the country. Listen to interviews with key business newsmakers. The Kudlow podcast will be available on the go after the show every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Get this. I don't know how Ed became our crack researcher. And somebody pointed out, we're not performative males. We are actually crappy performers. You ever hung out on Will Cain Country? Our crack researcher, Ed, probably using AI here. We were just talking about why do we have broadcast TV? Who still has rabbit ears? How are people getting content? Listen to this, fellas. And it's going up. Look at the number. What does this mean? In 2026, there are 54.3 million pay TV households. There are 80.7 million non-pay TV households. So non-pay, I take that to mean not doing cable, not streaming. Surely they're streaming. 80 million households in the United States have no streaming, no cable. They're rabbit earing it.
Can't be true.
And that number's going up. That's in 2019, that number was 44 million. It's flipped, basically, between pay and non-pay. This has got to be people who are canceling their cable, and they are streaming stuff. That's got to include that. Well, then this is bad research, Ed, if it's streaming. Don't throw your hands up in the air and say
Fired
it's
from
probably
research.
streaming.
Fired.
I'm curious how many people are rabbit earing. You're going to get fired from being our researcher, Ed. Look up rabbit ears, over-air television, no streaming included. This can't be right. You know who probably knows is Ethan Penner. He's running for governor of California. He's an independent, and he comes from a world of innovation and finance. He worked on Wall Street. He probably knows this. Ethan, do you think a lot of households are still are using rabbit ears for television?
I gotta tell you, right? Will, I'm old enough to remember real rabbit ears when I would actually fight with my brother when one of the rabbit ears broke, and I told him, "Can you just stand there and hold it up against the TV so I could watch a football game?" So I remember rabbit ears. I haven't seen rabbit ears in a while, but no, the numbers look a little strange, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree.
I would question that research. But I do. Or just
fire your researcher.
But I do think people are probably kind of overwhelmed with the choices, right? How many channels do people really need? So the cable thing is a little crazy.
Okay, Ethan, this is interesting. I think people are overwhelmed, period. Like when you said I think people are probably overwhelmed, I didn't know where you were going to go there for a second. But you think about the inundation of information, the rapid change in innovation and technology, the chaotic news cycle, not all of which is manufactured by guys like me. I don't manufacture, but I'm just saying every news person needs to think about whether or not you're manufacturing chaos and negativity. I just think you're looking at a population of people that are incredibly overwhelmed, to your point. And that manifests in politics.
Yeah, people are
that
scared.
manifests in politics as well.
No doubt. And look, we see I'm running as an independent, and it's an effort to try to heal this divide, which is really predicated upon fear and fear mongering. And I think people are scared on a very high level right now. And the overwhelming aspect of things and the conflict that I think we feel every day, and you see this government shutdown, just another example of it, people are nervous.
Yeah, the only thing I'll disagree with what you had to say is the government shutdown to me. And look, everyone has to ask, is it impacting you or not? And that's why it's not. But it's a bit, these government shutdowns are always a thud. It's always happening. It's always like hyped up to 10. Somebody made a joke on social media, unless you need to use a bathroom at a national park, this isn't going to impact your life. By the way, TSA is still operating. The military is still operating. Everything is still operating. But I do agree with the fear thing, like politicians playing on fear. Everybody knows my personal biases, but I think politicians constantly accusing their political opponents of fascism, authoritarianism, and Nazism is a pure play to fear and really gets in the way of anyone ever making a rational choice on what the right direction is for their country or their state, a state like California.
Yeah. Well, California's been wayward for too long. California's the most incredible place. I grew up in New York. My dad moved here when I was a kid, and I've been visiting, and then I moved here and, made a life here. It's an amazing place, and it's been destroyed by bad ideas. And we've seen that throughout the world, even in my lifetime. My wife's Venezuelan, and Venezuela was also once one of the great countries in the world, destroyed by bad ideology, bad politics. And California's going the same way. Your state, Texas, is kicking our butt, literally kicking our butt, and has been for so long. And it's not because California is not a better place to live. All the people I know in Texas vacation in California, all my friends. So California's an amazing spot, but we need to right everything that's wrong here, and that's what I'm running for.
Okay, and so how do you do that?
Well, the number one thing is to stop vilifying success. We've embraced this idiotic ideology that teaches people that winners are bad, and that people who are kind of pursuing the American dream, as people like you and I have in our lives, are somehow bad people and owe something to people who don't try and don't succeed. And I think this whole idea of vilification of success needs to be turned around. I have a tax plan that I've introduced that has already gotten great acclaim from independent sources like American Enterprise Institute and the Tax Foundation. And I think it communicates to the world that California is open for business again. You can't be pro-employee, pro-worker, and then drive away all the employers and all the companies, which is what we've been doing stupidly.
Yeah, and to your point, a lot of moving here to Texas. So a tax structure, a tax plan, I'm reading here, prioritizes protecting struggling families from new burdens while creating an environment of abundance rather than scarcity. But what does that mean specifically? What, tax incentives for businesses? Is that lowering your state income tax, flatten your state income tax? What are you talking about?
I'm going to get rid of all the state income tax, and I'm going to replace it all, including our sales tax, with a single consumption tax. So there won't be any more income tax in the state of California. We'll go from the highest state income tax to zero, just like you in Texas, and just like people in Florida. And we're going to have one single.
It's a huge draw.
It's an amazing
draw.
It's
a huge draw for Florida, Texas, Tennessee. I think is at 1%. Yeah. What do you guys? It goes up to what? 12%, 13%.
13.3%. And that's really just the beginning, because we have all kinds of other idiotic taxes that I'm going to get rid of as well, that are state level taxes. So it's actually more than that.
That's incredible. I mean, the question is, you're running as an independent. By the way, the field includes Katie Porter, who's running as a Democrat, Antonio Villagrosa, who's running as a Democrat, Xavier Becerra, who's running as a Democrat, Steve Hilton, who's running as a Republican, Chad Bianco, who's on our program, running as a Republican. The question, though, is, bold vision, independent, then you go to Sacramento, and you've got this legislature that you have to work with that reflects, if not the desires of Californians, the ideology that's been entrenched and in place that got you here over the last 2 decades or more, 3 decades.
Well, I think that this divide, right? You look at how on the national level, it's a mirror of what happens in states like California, where Democrats fear to agree with Republicans because it'll cost them their support. And so a guy showing up as an independent governor with ideas that are truly win-win ideas. I mean, my ideas are not meant to get the rich richer, God forbid. I think that, the rich can take care of themselves. We've learned that over a lifetime. But I think that we need a place that works for everybody. My ideas will work for everyone. And when I show up as an independent with those ideas, supported by a voting population that elected me based on those ideas, it's going to be hard for the legislators to repel me.
Well, I think what you got going for you, at least from this seat, this vantage point, is I don't think incremental change is going to be – it is a bad situation that they're in the state of California. And incrementalism is not going to solve it. You're going to need something bold to get that state back on track. And it should be, to your point, it's a great state. It's a beautiful state. It's got so much going for it. But it's going to take some bold jerk of the steering wheel to get it back on the road. Otherwise, I don't know. You bring up Venezuela. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what's the biggest failed state? Like example. And I don't know. New York's gone. The city of New York has gone to the Fed several times and asked for a bailout. Detroit, I'm looking at cities largely here, but Detroit you've seen a total collapse in what that city once was. And I would imagine notably Detroit, what has happened over time is a warning, because it could be the future in California.
There's no doubt. Portland is the most recent one. I invested as a real estate investor in Portland just before the COVID whole experience. And right at that time, Portland was coming on. It had never had blooming like it was having. And people were abandoning San Francisco, thinking Portland is the next San Francisco. And then you saw COVID happen, and the political response to COVID in Portland and the tolerance of crime and homelessness literally destroyed the city. And now, of course, you see the fight over the feds coming in to save it. But Portland went from really a top 5 city in America, and it should be. It's that beautiful, to being a place similar to Detroit, a failed state. And I think California is definitely on the edge of that, which is what inspired me to run. I mean, I'm not a politician. I had no desire to be a politician, but I saw the people that are running and the trajectory of this state. And I said, if someone like me doesn't step up right now, there's no hope. And I didn't see anybody like me, so I figured it might as well be me.
Nobody like you in the field is pretty wide open. As I understand it, is this correct? You also teach at my alma mater, Pepperdine.
I have taught there for the last 7 years. I teach a class in business school. As you know, it's an amazing place, beautiful place.
Nice. Awesome. I didn't know that. That's great. Go Waves. Well, we're glad to have you at Pepperdine. We're glad to have you running for governor, and glad to have you on the show here today. Ethan Pinner, wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Okay, take care. Check him out, as that California gubernatorial race has a lot of names now in the field, and some offering some very different visions for that state and what it needs. Okay, before we go here today, let's get back to it with a quick episode of, as we do every day now, Final Takes. Speaking of performative, I know, Ed, do we have drums? Do we have a little intro, two-a-days? We are not performative males. We are anti-performative males. Two-a-days, you got something for me?
Final Take.
Your mouth didn't even move. That's a pre-record. Nice.
No, that was live.
Yeah. Oh, that was live. Oh, my return's on delay. I was looking in the wrong place.
Sorry.
Performance. We're not giving this over to Tinfoil Pat again, are we? We're not letting him have a quick takes and final takes.
This is going to be a little looser,
That's
too.
not in his contract. What does that mean?
I'm just not going to be as polished as quick takes.
Oh, so you are taking the steering wheel. Okay, buckle up.
I was joking.
Put your seatbelt on.
Oh, no, that sounded like a full takeover.
Driving
here we
by
go.
Braille. Here we go.
Will, you spend a lot of time in your car. You're from Texas. A lot of driving in Texas. And there's a recent poll out where people, it's discussed, people do a lot of weird things, spend a lot of time in their cars. And so what do you do with your me time in your car? How do you spend your time in your car? I don't know. Do you listen to music? Do you raw dog it with no sound?
I'm just trying to end it.
No, the car runs till it runs out of gas, Dan. That's how it works. It doesn't have brakes.
You're right.
It has a limited gas. It's just until it putters out. That's the Braille. The Braille is the end. It's like, is there an embankment that I can not run it into at full speed, but slightly at like a 2-mile-an-hour creep bump into to bring this thing to a stop?
Well, I'm running out of sound bites to play to stop it, so it's good.
Okay.
We got an image.
You got an image. That's right. Great production, Tinfoil. Good job.
It's up on the screen.
Here is how generations spend their time in the car. Millennials, they think about life and plan their futures. They also listen to podcasts. So some 44% think about life and plan their futures, while about 39% listen to podcasts. Sounds about right. Gen X, me. Listen to music. 89% of Gen Xers listen to music in the car. And then there's Gen Z, the youngest. They enjoy silence, as Patrick described it, raw dogging it. 55% just enjoy the silence. And 25% take naps in their cars, hopefully not while driving.
Teslas.
I think it's pretty accurate. My son, I think he's Gen Z. I think he is. He could be Gen Alpha. Is that what comes after Gen Z?
Yeah, he's Alpha. He is.
When he pulls into the driveway, he doesn't come inside. I mean, sometimes like, how long has he been in the driveway? I don't know, like 15 minutes, and he's sitting in his car. And part of me wants to make like, what are you doing? Is it that bad in our house that you just can't bring yourself to come in? Like, what's going on? But you know what? I kind of taken to doing that lately. When I go home at the end of the day, like when my day is over, I pull into the driveway. And I'm not proud of this. And then I'm listening to something on the radio. I pull my phone out. I start scrolling. And I just kind of sit there in the driveway doing that. And I don't think it's healthy or good. But I'll bet you there are other people out there doing that. Now, everybody on this show, except for Patrick, lives in New York. And Patrick's a recluse. So he just doesn't drive over bridges in Jacksonville and stays in his house. But everybody else is riding trains to work. So you don't really apply. This doesn't apply to you. But I'm curious if everybody listening does that too, or a lot of people sit on their phones for 10 minutes when they pull into the driveway. I'm not a typical Gen Xer. I would say my car driving diet is as follows. 60 to 70% sports radio. 25% podcast.
What kind?
Podcast. Sometimes. That's the thing about podcasts. I don't have something I'm religious about. It would be talk. It would be talk. It would be like the Rogan type stuff. Sean Ryan, Joe Rogan. Well, I don't have to listen to Will Cain Country.
We could really use the downloads.
Well, it's because of your job. You listen to sports and news and podcasts.
That's the best thing you said today, Patrick. We could really use the downloads. And then, so 5%, here's sometimes, so I'm probably at about 90% on my math, if I'm right, somewhere in there. 5%, I will stream Fox News live if there's big events during the day and I want to know, like, what's happening.
Shout out.
That's more middle of the day type stuff. and then 5% music. I don't listen to music that often. I enjoy it when I do, but I just don't do it that often. What do you guys do in the car?
I used to do music. I was just always music because I'm a musician, so I used to always blast it. I definitely don't listen to NPR, so I don't even get that in your head.
Performative male.
Wink,
Performative
wink.
male.
I don't have an NPR tote
I'm
bag.
a musician.
But I'm podcast all the way. I listen to like history long podcasts, things like that. I love it.
Do you have a good one? I've been on the search for a good history.
Hyenas.
I mean, I've got a couple I do here or there. History Hyenas. So that's your comedy
That's
one,
my
right?
guy. Yeah. I listen to the Stoic one, the guy we like that we have on Stoicism podcast. It's pretty good.
Holiday.
Yep.
I forget his name.
Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday.
But I'm mostly, when I take the train in, or the car, I'm mostly comedy podcasts, because I can get away from the news, get away from hating my sports teams.
Yeah, I'm glutton on the sports talk. You don't have a microphone. You're Gen X, Ed? Yeah, you're Gen X. What do you listen to in the car? Yell it.
Morning news. It all depends.
Okay, good. This is going to be a really good short answer.
This is really great.
First thing he said is it all depends. Yeah.
It all started in 1985.
Okay. You don't have a mic. You got to be quicker.
Flock of seagulls.
Okay. Oh, okay. He said music and smartless. He's a smartless guy.
I love smartless
Interesting. Talk about a performative male.
Whoa. Oh, whoa.
Next thing you
Don't
know,
go
he's
after
gonna
my
be
guys
listening
like
to Dak
that.
Prescott.
Don't go after my guys like that.
Not Dak Prescott, Dak Shepard. That's next for you. And then after that, you'll be listening to Brene Brown.
Boots, bro.
I strictly listen to Gavin Newsom's podcast. It's fine. No, I'm kidding.
Is he putting out episodes, by the way? Did he just do one or two? Like he did Charlie Kirk. He did like 2 or 3 others. Did it die already? Is he like Michelle Obama and Barack Obama and the Royals? They got like these $20 million contracts to do like 4 episodes. How do you get one of those contracts? I have not heard of the Gavin Newsom podcast, honestly, since the Charlie Kirk episode.
6 days
I
ago
don't
was
know
the
who
last.
he's had on or what he's done.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes. Starting August 10th.
8 episodes he's got. I
As
wonder who his deals with.
as a
He may not have a deal. He's a
three-star rating.
politician. Is he allowed to have a deal?
Out of 5.
3-star rating.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sinpoil Pat said, go ahead and please bump up our rating based upon that exhilarating topic we just had right there. Give us a 4 to 5 stars if you think it's so well deserved. Drop into the comments section. Become a member of the militia. We hope you will. Follow us on Spotify or Apple. Bookmark us on YouTube, Will Cain Country, because that's where we'll be again tomorrow. Same time, same place. I'll see you next time.